in the age of instant response, people are gun shy about straying from the orthodoxy of their team.
One of the things that's driving me crazy at the moment, in 2019, is self-hating Jews have been a thing. It's a very tough road to hoe if you're Jewish. Right. And there's always this temptation to turn on the group.
Yes.
I am seeing that same thing become self-hating Christians, self-hating Americans, self-hating Europe.
No question about it.
And no one can figure out how to say, you know what, I'm not necessarily against anybody else, but this culture is my responsibility. And it would be a little bit weird if Italians didn't think Italian food was amazing.
Yes. I think that we have to learn how to use the but without invalidating everything that came before it. By which I mean, you have to be able to say, Western civilization has done, but Europe, America, so on, terrible things, cruel things, unspeakable things, violence in all sorts of ways. But it also gave the world its greatest benefits, its greatest blessings. The end of slavery happened in Western civilization, not in Eastern civilizations, on and on and on and on. And you have to be able to mean both. The problem is that everybody seems to align on one side of the but or on the other. That is, they're either entirely devoted to the critique or they're entirely devoted to the boosterism. And you have to be able to hold both ends of the pole. You have to be able to say, look, America does terrible things sometimes, and that's real. But on the other hand, look at what America brings to the world and has brought to the world.
But where did this polarization come from? I mean, all we do is we struggle and we weigh things, and then it's so. And I'm about to swear, and I'm going to stop myself from doing it. It's so simplistic.
Yes. We do not live in the age of nuance. We live in the, we live in the age of Twitter debate.
I'm going to disagree with this.
Okay.
I think we do live in the age of nuance. It's not that. It's the structures that used to support nuance, where you could trust that structure could hold a perimeter, have broken down. So, for example, I used to read The Economist for nuance.
Right.
Institutionally, it seems to be under fire. Now, humans that used to work for The Economist are sipping their cognac saying, wow, this has really gone to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
But it's the institutional the pressures on institutions are different from the pressures on the autonomous individual. If you are lucky enough to have your own source of income or to have your own wealth, and you don't have to primarily work through things that are, incorporated in some sense, you can have nuance. It's now the sense-making channels, and I'm going to specifically single out like the news organs, the political parties, the universities that have seen this unbelievable crashing and burning, going from problematic institutions that probably had bigotries and prejudices and biases to lost, just embarrassingly lost structures that can't remember why they exist. They realize that they're unfair. I feel like they're monks wearing hair shirts, flagellating themselves for their imperfections.
Well, I think that part of that, this will be no surprise to you, is in the age of instant response, people are gun shy about straying from the orthodoxy of their team, because it's one thing if you're going to write an article and you're going to get some letters and some people will be upset, but it's another thing if you're going to get slammed on Twitter and in social media and people are going to write Facebook posts about you.
Yeah.
You get scared.
Okay, but
therefore people don't venture out of their circle. And so if you're on one side of the divide, you don't say anything nice about the people on the other side of the divide.
Yeah, but let's talk about what's really one of our best features as a culture, which is the courage to stand alone.
Yeah.
Now, one of the weird things, so I just came from San Francisco, where I was at the Kitchen, which is a congregation of kind of experimental Judaism. And one of the things that I love in Judaism is when you're in the standing prayer, you take your time to say your standing prayer, and you don't necessarily sit down all at once.
Yeah.
So you've always got some people who take longer than everybody else, who are just literally standing alone.
Yep.
And I always thought, what a great aspect to have this be normal, to stand alone. Now, I bring that up because I was thinking recently about the weird fact that I know all of the names of the senators who opposed the Patriot Act in the wake of 9/11, right? Because they're all named Feingold. Russ Feingold was the only guy to vote against the Patriot Act when it was passed, because the country was in a fever to do something to take away people's rights. Right. And one guy said no, right? I don't remember anybody's name on the other side of that vote, right? There's something about standing alone, which is, I think, speaks to our best impulses.
Yes. I mean, I certainly understand that the indispensable quality to lead a good life is courage, and that courage is hard. And you'd see it on display every single day when in Twitter, which is a universe that you and I both inhabit, and Facebook and other places.
I should warn you, apparently I suck, I'm an idiot, and I totally don't get it.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. To say something that is against the orthodoxy of the side that you have up to then identified with is, I probably like you, I get attacked from the left and the right. And I have people all the time who tell me that I'm clearly a conservative, and other people tell me that I'm clearly a liberal, because I vary in my reaction to different, to different things. Exactly, to different things. So it's very hard. It's really very hard. And I remember after the same-sex marriage thing, I remember saying to my daughter something really wonderful that Churchill said after the Boer War. He said, "It's exhilarating to be shot at without result." Which I thought was great. And I said, you see, all these people were angry at me, and all of them wrote bad things about me or said bad things about me.
Because you came out for
for same-sex marriage. And then I said I would start to do same-sex marriages. And a lot of members of my congregation and elsewhere, it was such a big controversy. It was literally on the front page of the New York and the LA Times. That's how big a deal it was. And there were a lot of attacks, and some of them were very vicious, as you can imagine. But I wanted her to see that it was okay to say things that I said, the people who loved me still love me, and the people who hated me still hate me. And some of them maybe moved into one category or the other. But in the end, it's not.
How fast is this normalized? I mean, I remember that it was
a while. It took a while.
I think, to be honest.
Oh, you're talking about gay marriage.
Well, I'm
incredible.
I don't even call it gay marriage, right?
Whatever it is. Whatever.
But like
the fastest I've ever seen.
6 years ago, I heard the word, a man say the word husband for the first time about his partner. And I thought, I didn't know how that resolved. How would the words even be assigned?
Right.
Now it's the most normal thing in the world. And the other odd part about it, the other one that went that fast was smoking. It was like, no progress, no progress, no progress. Whoop.
Yes.
You can't smoke in a bar?
I know.
I mean, like, people.
It's true.
Right. Okay.
Those are the two fastest social changes that I.
Well, but it makes me wonder how many of these things really just require one penguin to jump into the water and find out that there's no leopard seal that can take it before there's a mass exodus. I think right now, nobody believes in the New York Times or Fox or CNN. We know that they're all compromised.
Yes.
And we also know that, for example, the Democratic and Republican parties are worthless. They are standing in the way of our future. And what we don't know is how to get out of these. We're in a straitjacket imposed by people we didn't elect, didn't choose, that are not functioning according to the best aspects of those traditions. I mean, I was a critic of the New York Times in the 80s. it's something different now. And these things are not wholesome. They're not ours, and we need to get rid of them. And part of what the portal is a search for a way out. If I don't like either political party, if I don't like any of my sense-making organs for journalism, how do I escape this?
I have been a registered independent most of my life for exactly the reasons that you expressed. Was I didn't think that either one sufficiently represented what I thought about the world for me to be one or the other. And that is even truer today than it has ever been in my lifetime. And I would say that the amplification of this kind of conversation and the kind of conversations that you have with the people in your world and circle, hopefully that will start to spread out. It was in the late 1980s that the first article was written by Andrew Sullivan about same-sex marriage. So that's an incredibly fast social. That was the first time it was mentioned. A very fast social change. The structures are clearly under stress. I don't know how fast things collapse. I mean, the night before the Soviet Union went away, everybody thought it was going to last forever. So maybe there are structures inside of the states that people think will be ever enduring, that will transform before our eyes.